Good morning. It's time for our fourth yoga class. Just to remind you of the systematic approach that we have, you may ask yourself, why are we repeating the exercises? That's exactly the point. The most powerful method is a systematic method. So to prepare you for future more advanced poses, you repeat the poses that we are doing now, and if you pay attention, and of course if you practice regularly, you follow the videos day by day, you will notice very quickly that you get stronger and more flexible. So we have a cycle of 7 times each exercise. In video 1 we had 4 exercises, video 2 5 exercises. We repeat the 4 in the third, as you have seen. We repeat the 5 in this video, the warrior poses and the shoulder stand. Each time we repeat the exercises, we try to stay a little bit longer, which is expressing the fact that we're actually growing, developing, getting stronger. We repeat the exercises 7 times following schedule. Then they drop out of the schedule. They won't come back, but they are being replaced by new exercises, and often exercises that are a little more advanced. Also, every other video, first video we had the triangle poses, second video warrior poses. It will remain like that until 7 times, then they drop out. But lesson 1, lesson 3 have 4 exercises, lesson 2, lesson 4 have 5 exercises. Soon that will also expand. So not only will exercises be replaced after 7 times of practice, a cycle of 7, also gradually the number of exercises will expand. So I'd say let's get to it. Let's close our eyes for a moment. Sit straight. Today I brought a cushion, meditation cushion. You can use any kind of cushion. You could use a cushion from your sofa and put that under your buttocks. Anything goes. Of course, it's nice if you have a meditation cushion. They are made for this. It's filled with barley husk, and it really shapes to your buttocks, so very comfortable. Okay, let's close our eyes for a moment. Sit straight, use the cushion to your advantage. If you don't have a cushion, remember you can use a folded towel, a folded blanket, anything that can just raise you up a little bit from the ground. Straight back, stretch up the back of the neck, tuck in the chin gently, breathe deep and calm, and just for a minute in silence, clear your mind. Okay, slowly come back, open your eyes. That was a nice Om, wasn't it? Yesterday didn't go so well. Now, before we start the class, I walk the dogs early in the morning. And yesterday I didn't wear my mask because I thought the air was clean. But even though the air seems to be clean, it's less clean than we think. And I think that influenced my own. Today, this morning, I used my mask. Makes a big difference. If you live in Korea, you may consider obtaining a good mask. I have a professional mask for sports people, so I use it when I ride my bicycle and when I make long walks. It's not the kind of surgical mask, but it's called, what is it? I will show you later. Anyway, let's start with Tadasana. Feet parallel. Distribute the weight on the foot soles evenly. Stand erect. Legs straight. Tilt the hips a little bit forward. Shoulders a little bit back. Stretch up the back of the neck. Tuck in the chin a little bit. Take a deep breath. Virabhadra 1, that is the first warrior pose. We spread the feet wide and the arms. Then we join the hands above the head. We turn 90 degrees, misaligning the feet in the process. Inhale deep. Exhale, bend the front leg until the thigh is 90 degrees, the leg 90 degrees bent and the thigh horizontal. And then you stretch up and arch back. Come back and relax for a moment in Tadasana. Take a deep breath. Allow the intensity to settle down. It's a strenuous pose, so you need a little more time than with the easier poses. Then we repeat on the other side. Virabhadra 1, first warrior. Inhale deep. Exhale, bend the front leg. Keep the rear leg straight. Stretch up, arch back. Slowly come back and relax for a moment. Take a deep breath. Virabhadrasana 2, the second warrior. Spread the feet wide again. This time we keep the arms spread out, horizontal. We do turn the feet in the same way as in the first warrior pose. And we misalign the feet in the same way. Then inhale deep. Exhale, bend the front leg. Remember, do not lean into the pose which you are naturally inclined to do. Stretch up the flanks and try to manipulate the hips in such a way that you can keep the upper body perfectly symmetric. Gaze at a point beyond the hand that is pointing forward. Keep breathing deep and calm. Slowly come back and relax for a moment. Then we switch. Inhale deep. Exhale, bend the front leg. There is a tendency in this pose to end up with a very hollow back. So try to visualize the tailbone and manipulate the hips in such a way, tilt the pelvis in such a way that the tailbone is pointing down to the ground. It's a little bit awkward if you do it correctly, but very powerful indeed. Then we slowly come back. Relax for a moment, take a deep breath. Then we have Parsvatanasana. There is no good English alternative for the Sanskrit name. Parsva means flank. Uttan means stretched up, a little bit like Utita. The Sanskrit stem of Ut is in the word, always indicating an extension, expansion, stretching up. But Parsva indicates the flank, but that's actually not really what you're doing, stretching up the flank, because you're stretching up the back of the body instead of rather than the side. So let's see how it goes. Spread the feet a little bit, not too wide, as we incline to do. Then join the hands behind the back, remember. And if you can't do that, you grab the elbows. Misalign the feet. Arch back as far as you can. And then slowly, without bending the back, tilting the pelvis, bend forward. See, you're not stretching up the flank, you're stretching up the front leg, the back of the front leg, the hip, right hip, and at the same time you try to avoid bending the back. Slowly come back, turn back straight, untangle the hands slowly, and relax for a moment. switch. Spread the feet just a little. Join the hands behind the back. Turn 90 degrees. Feet misaligned. Arch back as far as you can. And slowly bend forward, pivoting on the hip joints. Don't bend the back. Breathe deep and calm. Stand still. And slowly come back. Slowly untangle the hands. There's a lot of strain on the shoulder, so you have to come out of it slowly to avoid shock in the muscles. Relax for a moment. Take a deep breath. And then we have the shoulder stand. Remember last time I told you, if you have issues with the neck or shoulders, upper back, depending on the severity, you either have to avoid the pose, not do it at all, just to prevent damage or making the problem more serious. But if it's not that bad, you can modify the pose. And for this we use our cotton mat again. You can use a folded blanket, folded towel, a beach towel. It has to be a little bit big towel, so it provides a little cushioning. What is important is that it is wide enough to not only accommodate the shoulders, which will be here, but also the elbows. What you sometimes see people do is it's folded too narrow, then the shoulders are here and the elbows are here, and it's very unstable. Another thing you often see people do is that they put the shoulders here and then the head is here. In that case, the pressure on the neck and the upper back is just the same as when you don't use it at all. So the head must be here. So there is a little space between the shoulders, which are higher than the head, and that reduces the pressure on the neck and the upper back. So have a look. My head is outside the mat, outside the cotton mat. Okay. You go up as controlled as possible. Support the back firmly and then erect, pushing the heels up to the ceiling. As I told you last video, in Dutch we call this pose the candle pose. That implies straightness, but total perfect straightness in this pose is not natural and can even be harmful, again, for the neck. So a slight angle is perfectly okay. I can't force myself to be perfectly straight, since I have no problem in my neck. This doesn't cause me unnecessary discomfort, but it's okay if the body is slightly bent. Okay, let's consolidate, breathe deep and calm. Then we go to Halasana by lowering the feet. Clasp the fingers, push the hands down. Okay, slowly come back by going through the shoulder stand. You always come back through the shoulder stand. Then you come down slowly and controlled. And relax for a moment. In Savasana, the last exercise. Just for a minute, relax the whole body. Breathe deep and calm. And enjoy the wonderful feeling that results from your asana practice. Okay, clasp the fingers, stretch yourself out comfortably, and slowly come back. Please sit down. For the sake of the length of the video, we do the exercises once. That is enough in itself, but if you have enough time and room also, it's actually quite good, especially in the beginning stages, to repeat the poses. Especially when you repeat the pose, the body has set, the muscles have set to your first attempt, and second attempt is usually you feel better in the pose. Yes. It's time for a short meditation. 5 minutes. Nothing complicated, just observation of everything that's around you, whatever that is. That can be people's activity if you are not alone at home. That can be domestic appliances, the fridge that once in a while starts buzzing to cool the interior, neighbors that are walking around in their home that you can hear their footsteps on the floor, these kind of things, a car passing by in the street. You simply observe consciously, but you don't let it affect you. You don't let it disturb you or annoy you. Simply be, simply observe. Then you will notice very quickly, if you remain in such an objective state of observation, your attention will turn inwards. And you will make a connection with life that goes on internally in the human being that most human beings are not aware of. You start noticing consciously the constant flow, subconscious flow of thoughts, or the constant flow of subconscious thoughts that goes around in your mind 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when you sleep. One of the great values of meditation is indeed that you start becoming aware of that. It is how you discover the real self. It is how you discover what is called soul consciousness. So 5 minutes, breathe deep and calm, sit erect, and simply observe, that's all, nothing complicated. The more complicated you make it, the more you will fail at meditating. The more complicated you make it, the more restless you become. So simply observe and feel free to observe whatever comes along, external and internal. And we finish with Om, 3 times. Om. you slowly come back, open your eyes again. My eyes always become moist when I meditate, even when it's very short, so I always rub my eyes. It's not a ritual, it's just a necessity. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below the video. For the next couple of days, I will remake these videos in Korean. So video 5 and 6 in English will come out next week. Yeah. Traditional yoga is very rare these days, especially in Korea. It's very commercial, and it's 99% of all yoga classes is flow yoga, power yoga, Ashtanga yoga. And in itself there's nothing wrong with that as an exercise, physical exercise. There's no standing still. There's music, there's a teacher that's constantly talking, even during meditation they talk. And I totally understand. Traditional yoga on the surface looks very boring. It looks only boring to those who don't participate. Because once you experience traditional yoga, in silence, boring as it seems on the outside, it's just so nice, you'll never feel bored. You'll never think again that this is so boring. Then again, the easy way is to just give people what they want. Play music and bombard them with details about the back and the hips and the shoulders and the muscles and the spine and what have you. But that's not what yoga is about. That is what yoga has become, to commercialize it. So I hope you enjoy practicing in silence. The reason why I'm so insistent on sticking to this approach is when I started practicing yoga in 1984, I instantly became addicted, and it changed my life. And it changed my life in ways that sports, which I've always done, and is always good, of course, to practice sports. Yoga is different if you do it correctly. It has a totally different, maybe even additional dimension. And it has changed my life. And it is what has brought me to Korea. It is what has led me to give up my Dutch nationality and take on Korean nationality. It is what has led me to adopt 2 incredibly delicate but wonderful, sweet dogs that people said, oh my God, this is not a good idea, what are you doing? Everything is connected in the universe, and that becomes clear when you start practicing yoga properly and you start connecting with your inner self. That is where things start to take a natural course, a natural chain event of things will start to happen in life that feel like coming home, that feel like getting where you want to be. Not easy, on the contrary. Not easy. It's easier to take the disconnected way and just be safe and comfortable. Stay put where you are. This is actually what the poem is about. That is called The Road Not Taken. The Road Not Taken is about, there are 2 roads, there's a fork in the road, there are 2 roads. 99% of the people go to the left and only 1% of the people go to the right. The left is the obvious way. It's the way society dictates, parents tell you, education teaches you. to do the road to the left. That is what your heart tells you to do. But to follow the heart requires a lot of courage, your ability to deal with insecurity, uncertainty, and what have you. But yoga has all the tools and ingredients to support you in that. Without yoga, that would never have been possible for me and for all the students that I've educated throughout the years and have moved on to incredible adventures. So I stick to traditional yoga, and that is what I want to share with you, hoping that it will touch your heart as well as it did mine. Have a wonderful day. It's bitterly cold in Korea. I walked with the dogs and it was -12 this morning. Be happy, be healthy, and until next week when video 5 comes out. Greetings.